Halo, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam Ibu.
Halo, Mbak Karisa.
Halo Ibu.
Waktunya pas maghrib.
Halo, Bu Epi.
Ya. Mohon maaf nih, telat 2-3 menit ya. Sorry, kita mulai sekarang.
Silakan Ibu. Tapi ini tadi Pak Irfannya lagi izin sholat maghrib.
Oh iya.
Gitu.
Oke.
Apa-apa, lanjutkan saja. Waalaikumsalam.
Mr. Charlie udah gabung, Mr. Charlie. Halo. You still mute.
Oh, okay. Hello everyone.
Halo. Oke, we start ya.
Halo,
Apa-apa ya.
Charlie.
Nggak usah nunggu Pak Irfan gimana, Mbak Karisa.
Boleh Ibu.
Oke. Oke, Assalamualaikum. Very good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining our architecture webinar. This webinar is about enriching architectural experience with wide span bamboo structure. Okay. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Evi Yusriani. You can call me Evi from IAI Kepulauan Riau. And then I will be responsible for hosting this presentation, this webinar this afternoon. And then this afternoon we have berapa ini anunya ya, banyak banget nih. Sepertinya mahasiswa ya. Ramai sekali partisipan di sore hari ini, ada from UIB juga, ada IAI Kepulauan Riau juga ada. And then I'm glad to welcome to our 3 speaker who will share their experience about wide span bamboo structure. Let me introduce them. Our speaker are Mr. Charlie here. He is the principal architect, and Inspiral architect from Bali. And then Dr. Andri Irfan Rifai. and then Dean of Faculties Civil Engineering and Planning, Universitas Internasional Batam, and then Ibu Karissa Dinar, one of lecturer of architecture program study, Universitas Internasional Batam. And then before we start, let me explain how you can talk to us during the webinar. And then you may write the question at the chat column. And then don't forget to fill your attendance at link attached at chat column. And then if you have any question, just write to the chat. And then the speaker will answer your question at the end of the session, at the Q&A session. And then our presentation this afternoon will delivered by in order. First by Miss Karissa. She will explaining about bamboo material and architecture. And then second, Dr. Andri will explaining about wide span bamboo structure. And then Mr. Charlie will be sharing us his experience about exploring and designing the wide span bamboo structure in real project. And then since we just have an hour and 15 minutes, and based on the itinerary and the presentation pointer that I had before from UIB briefly, the speaker will present their experience in 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, we will start our webinar this afternoon. I ask you to give your full attention to our speaker. Okay, please for the first, Karissa.
Thank you, Mrs. Afe. Okay, let me share my screen first. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Good evening, all. My name is Karissa, a lecturer of undergraduate program of architecture UIB. First of all, on behalf of our program, I would like to say many thanks to Dr. Andri, Mr. Charlie, and Mrs. Avi for taking the time to be here. It's such an honor for me to be given this opportunity to share knowledge together with the great speakers. Okay, as a matter of fact, bamboo is being used all around the world nowadays. So have you ever been wondering what the hype is all about for using bamboo in architectural design? Not only furniture within the home, hotels and restaurants, but it's also being used for entire building structures, which offer more experiences for the user. Therefore, before we discuss how the use of bamboo and could enrich the architectural experience, I would like to share a brief story of bamboo and architecture to look into the relationship between them a little more to understand exactly why this natural resource has become so popular. All right, without further ado, let me start my presentation. Okay, what do you know about bamboo? When you picture bamboo in your mind, you may think about China, tropical furnitures, or even panda, and so on. Yet bamboo is actually beyond that. So let's get to know the characteristic of bamboo first in this Bamboo 101. You may naturally associate bamboo with China, as the history of bamboo often focuses on its uses in China. Actually, this plant grows in warmer climates, giving it an association with tropical themes. As long as the weather is right, however, bamboo can proliferate and spread throughout an area. That's likely why it has spread through continents and countries. Bamboo grows abundantly throughout Asia, the Pacific Islands, and both Central and South America. A large percent of these grow in Southeast Asia. And in Indonesia particularly, as many as 145 species can be found, spreading from the west to the east of this country. And then bamboo has an unparalleled growth rate in the plant world and is growing far faster than trees. It can be harvested every 3 to 5 years, depending on the species, whilst most trees can only be harvested every 25 to 50 years. Besides that, there are over 1,400 documented species of bamboo spread around the world. Some only grow as high as 10 to 15 centimeters, whilst the largest can get up to 40 meters tall. The range of species and heights makes bamboo suitable for many purposes, which is why people have been using it for centuries. All right, next, the work of bamboo is used as per the desired need and length. First, splitting. The bamboo cane is split in quarters and then driven apart by a wedge or a knife. By means of splitting, you will get halved canes, strips, and battens. To get planks, all the nodes are smashed and the wall of the pole is split over its entire length and forced open until the wall of the pole lies flat. The canes can be peeled after about 18 months, and the strips can be used as ties or be woven to make strings and ropes. Next, shipping. Bamboo available in nature is usually circular in cross-section. But if bamboo is made to grow in a box of square shape, it attains the shape of the box, so that it can be better used for making connections. Last, bending. Freshly cut, bamboo can be bent by heating and will keep the shape after drying. When heated above 150 degrees Celsius, bamboo starts changing its shape and remains as such after it goes cold. Well, since it can easily be trained into different shapes, bamboo can be used for such a huge variety of building purposes, creating a versatile material, if I may say. All right, as I mentioned earlier, people have been using bamboo for centuries. As we may know, they use it for both animal and people food, medicines, clothes, artworks, like we can create bamboo sculptures and wall art, as well as accessories like necklace, earrings, and so on, as well as musical instrument like angklung. And then bamboo can also be used as weapons, education system, kitchenware, and also in architecture. In architecture, particularly, bamboo can be used for making doors and windows, roofing, wall, and scaffolding. Bamboo is often used for scaffolding because it proves to be an eco-friendly and cost-effective resource. In Hong Kong, for example, bamboo scaffolding is preferred over metal scaffolding because it is easily available and cheaper. Okay, next, bamboo used as building skin. Skin here refers to the outwalls of the buildings. Its integration with other materials provides more opportunities to the diversification of building skin and the improvement of architectural aesthetics. Typically, the use of bamboo as building skins can be divided into three types: single skin, multi-layer skin, and composite skin. In single skins means that bamboo skin formed by only one material through various combinations. And it is of simple production technology with low cost and good ventilation and sunlight prevention. Meanwhile, in multi-layer skin, it means that it's composed by two or more materials, which is a typical design method of using complementation of material properties and can effectively overcome defects of single bamboo material. For instance, the juxtaposition of bamboo and glass, in which the bamboo can filter outside interference, such as sunlight, the line of sight, and glass can block the sound and heat. And last is composite skin. It's created by blending two or more materials, which break through their inherent properties and creates a third type of skin. Then, bamboo can be used also in building decoration. We can divide it into interior and exterior. And if I may say, this is partly related to bamboo usage in wall and building skin. Building decoration should fully consider the natural characteristics of bamboo materials. The surface of bamboo materials is smooth, lightweight, and flexible, with natural and gentle color, clear and beautiful texture. So we can optimally utilize this unique look of bamboo to beautify the room or building. Besides that, as a versatile material, bamboo can create any intricately crafted furniture, from benches and chairs to tables and nextstays, which give a tropical ambience. Next, bamboo used as laminated sheets and planks, as I mentioned earlier. Then those bamboo sheets and planks can be used in floor. Bamboo has physical similarities to through hardwoods. That's why it has been used as an alternative floor flooring. Aside from its strength, bamboo floor promote durability, its eco-friendliness, and its natural resistance to moisture. The various types used are small bamboo culms, split bamboo, and flattened bamboo, as well as bamboo mats. All right, let's moving on to see some of bamboo application in architecture over time. First, over 5,000 years ago, Chinese people used bamboo to construct tree houses, beginning its legacy as a sturdy building material. Today, some minorities in Southwest China still live in these two-storied bamboo steel houses. The upper floor of the house contains bedrooms, kitchens, and balconies, whilst the ground floor is used to house poultry and domestic animals. Another example is Raisa Shrine in Philippines, which has 5 houses of bamboo built by Jose Rizal in 1973. They each show different styles that could emerge from nipa hut architecture, which is a basic bamboo housing architecture in Philippines, with bamboo poles used to support the structure and the walls composed of split and woven bamboo. One of the most famous Casarodendam is an octagonal steel house that served as the quarters of Rizal students and a clique, as you can see on the right picture. Next is the Green School in Bali. It is a giant laboratory and located on a sustainable campus that powered by a number of alternative energy sources, including a bamboo sawdust hot water and cooking system, a hydropower vortex generator, and solar panels. A range of architecturally significant spaces from large communal gathering place to much smaller classrooms are the future of the campus. Local bamboo, grown using sustainable methods, is used in innovative and experimental ways that demonstrate its architectural possibilities. The result is a holistic green community with a strong educational mandate that seeks to inspire students to be more engaged and more passionate about the environment and the planet. After that, we have Indonesia's first climate communications center in the remote village of Buntoy on the Borneo Island, Central Kalimantan Province, Indonesia. It was opened in 2013. The province's wetlands are under threat from heavy logging and unsustainable agricultural practices, which is significantly contribute to Indonesia's greenhouse gas emissions. Therefore, in 2012, the United Nations Office for Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Forest Degradation, Coordination Indonesia, and UNOPS launched a project to build this center to help preserve existing forests. The center has created a space where local people benefit from global knowledge sharing on climate issues, increasing their resilience to climate change. It is fully powered by solar energy and was built by local workers and with local materials. This bamboo house is expected to be a reference for the community in Buntai village in terms of energy savings on buildings. Next is Loom Temple, which is part of the amenities of a new residential development called Loom Zama in Tulum, Mexico. The project is a five-sided catenary structure made from bamboo, assembled from flat sections of bamboo, bent on sides, screwed and strapped together. The individual woven bamboo elements work together as one element. The designer designed the structure with parametric software and worked in close communication with the builders, and an engineer specializing in bamboo structures. The structure was designed and calculated to resist hurricane forces. The bamboo for the project was farmed locally, and on the exterior, a layer of local grass thatch roof, typical of the region, protects the structure from the rain and allows the structure to breathe in the humid tropical climate. So we can say that Loom Temple is a showcase for sustainable development. It combines innovative design and engineering with artisanal building and organic sustainable materials. The project carefully okay. The project carefully weaves the architectural program with the beauty of the site to create a unique, iconic, yet contextual space for the community. From all those mesmerized works, I think we can learn why people use bamboo as building material. As a matter of fact, the benefits of bamboo include its fast growth rate, it's growing faster than trees, as I mentioned earlier. So this could have a huge impact on deforestation, giving timber forests the opportunity to regenerate in the future. It's a far superior sustainable choice, isn't it? Then its flexibility, durability, and strength. Bamboo bends without breaking, and because of its flexibility, builders use it in constructions to withstand earthquakes and accomplish curved projects. Along with being pliable, bamboo lasts a long time. It's less prone to warping than wood is, making it an excellent choice for humid climates because it won't warp as often as wood. So it will last much longer. We can ensure the material's durability by using bamboo stain and sealer as well. Technically, bamboo is a grass and not a wood, yet it becomes harder over the years with a wood-like toughness. It is even harder than oak and ash. And then bamboo functions essentially the same as wood, yet the technical requirements of bamboo buildings are relatively low and can easily be integrated into local architectural structures, like the integration of bamboo with soil, concrete, and so on. Besides, the harvesting and installation of bamboo is fairly simple. It's easy to cut, no bark to peel during processing, and its lightness makes it ideal to handle, transport, and store. Aside from bamboo's rapid growth rate, the production of bamboo also yields benefits to the earth. They don't require fertilizers or pesticides for growth, and their extensive root system helps to draw in and store water, reducing the impacts of soil erosion too. Bamboo are efficient in generating oxygen, whilst at the same time absorbing more carbon dioxide than trees. Thus, the recognition of the use of bamboo by the wider community for building, construction, and other purposes will have an impact on the growing need for bamboo procurement. This can trigger people to plant bamboo on less productive lands, thereby providing added value economically. Therefore, I can say bamboo can be highly considered as eco-friendly and sustainable building materials. Because it can easily be grown and harvested, it's also a cost-effective building material, making it a far more affordable option when compared to the wood. And in addition to its practical benefits as building material, the aesthetic beauty of bamboo should not be overlooked either, with impressive results when its unique look left exposed. With all those benefits of building with bamboo, the question now is, what are the challenges to implement it? The challenges might be first susceptible to deterioration. Firstly, bamboo is susceptible to the detrimental impacts of not only insects but also rot, fungi, and fire. So it does need to be treated correctly both inside and out. There are ways to treat it naturally like air drying or using heat, but most commonly this is done using a mixture of borax and boric acid, which is applied as a chemical coating for, or otherwise the bamboo will need to be replaced every 2 to 3 years. Although chemical emissions are relatively low, it's still something to reconsider. And the second one might be the modern technology construction. Over time, construction technology is increasingly developing. Various kinds of new materials and construction have emerged. So there might be times when bamboo cannot be the main choice of construction materials, despite of its tremendous advantages. But the development of bamboo construction technology is actually also developing. Bamboo can be used for a variety of building functions, from short spans to wide spans building. But maybe there is still a little guidance regarding this. So I would say this is a challenge for all parties, including academics and practitioners, especially those who are experts in the field of bamboo construction. How can we use bamboo in architecture continuously without getting undermined by the development of modern technology? All right, this brings me to the end of my talk. Let me now summarize my main points. First, I believe we all agree that bamboo construction is a promising sign for sustainable architecture. As we may know, the construction industry sector is allegedly second contributing to global warming. Use of non-renewable materials as a certain period of time will be exhausted and effects to environmental damage. Due to the decline of wood resources and that other materials like cement is fueling climate change with its carbon load, bamboo construction is one practical option to look forward. Let alone its various potentials that are good elements of strength, fast-growing, low energy, aesthetically appealing, and materials protecting the Earth's ecosystem, including economic improvement, in which modern building materials are relatively less affordable. If it is well designed and cared for, it would also have long durability. However, we need to remember there are still some challenges to tackle in building with bamboo. The world are generally still catching up in finding the newly developed bamboo building constructions technologies. I believe several bamboo experts are working on bamboo building systems, including how to maintain it well. Thus, we need people to be more aware of the existence and application of bamboo in the field of architecture and construction. How to properly process bamboo from raw materials until it is ready to use, and how to maximize the use of bamboo to enrich the architectural experience, and also how to maintain it so that it will last longer. Such things we have to discuss together like on this webinar, and most importantly, execute it in order to reduce the impacts of global warming and sustainable ecosystem for the future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carissa. I just find new architecture from your presentation. Some of those your picture inspired me really. And then I believe bamboo is sustainable. And then for the second speaker, Dr. Andi Irfan, your presentation is like the mata kuliah bahan bangunan ya Pak Andi ya, seperti itu ya. Jadi tidak membuang waktu, please Pak Andi, your presentation. You still on unmute Pak.
Okay, thank you, Devi. Please just a minute. I will to. Okay, sorry. Okay. Thank you so much for this time. My name is Andri Irfan. Currently, I am the Dean of the Faculty of Civil Engineering and Planning, Universitas International Batam, as well as I head of Transportation and Geodesy, the Institute of Engineers Indonesia for Rio Islands area. Thank you for the head of the UIB Architect Department and also my lecturers, and other committees. Thank you for Dr. Mulia as a head of the Institute of Engineers Indonesia for Rio Island area. And of course, I will just thank you for Mr. Charlie Hurd as a keynote speaker. Thank you so much, Mr. Charlie. I myself have an educational background in pavement engineering. Currently being asked to talk about bamboo, which actually tend to be more of a scholarly architect. But don't worry, I won't take the architecture. I will try to talk a little about bamboo in terms of structure and maintenance. What the side with Mr. Karisha, the weakness of the bamboo is about the durability, and I think it's about the maintenance. Let's we discuss about that. As we know, bamboo has many uniques, but has a weakness. It is a durability. So it is necessary to choose the right method in selecting the type of structure and carrying out proper maintenance. I think it's very important. But sorry, maybe in the material is little interactive and attractive because the material presented tend to talk about the mechanical properties. What the Bu Evi say, bahan bangunan, just about the mechanical properties of bamboo. This is the historical about bamboo. Bamboo has been widely known as a sustainable building material due to some reason. Among other, bamboo can be easily cultivated and harvested in a relative short time and can be reused. Bamboo is a building material in easy to bend and light. Those characters are very suitable for organic saving building construction. The use of bamboo of building material has occurred along a period. Most of the traditional houses in Indonesia and Asia, in the Asia area also, use bamboo as building material, both structural and non-structural material. And I will continue talk about structural. The use of bamboo in traditional house is due to the facts the bamboo grow abundantly in tropical rice forests like Indonesia, South Asia, America, Latin, South America. But after industrial era has begun, the use of bamboo, a building material, become obsolete. Bamboo is considered as cheap and non-permanent materials. It is also considered as low-class material, often called as what the name? The poor man timber. The poor man timber, yeah, the poor man timber, by many modern builders. Bamboo naturally grows in the forest, but also can be cultivated in plantation, like in Japan. While the Raj talks of bamboo growth in forests, it raises some important questions regarding resource ownership and management. Local community in Asia, unlike Indonesia, usually plant bamboo around their village, like in my village in Majalengka, West Java. In some remote village, bamboo grove is used as a fence or boundary layer for the village. In this case, bamboo belong to the community and is free to buy the community. What is free? About is very cheap, yeah, cheapest. Okay. In South American country, like in in Asia, South Asia, the natives use bamboo intensive before the arrival of Europe invaders who never knew how to use bamboo. Like Indonesia, invader from Europe, like Dutch, Spain, or the other country, up to the 80s of the last century is usually limited to the construction of some scaffolding and simple dwelling. In the other country like Brazil, systematic studies, a lot of paper, since I think in 1970, a lot of paper to discuss about bamboo in structure. One of the characteristics of bamboo is bamboo low cost and energy saving construction material. In the era of industrialists, the choice of the material has come to be determined mainly by the price and the facility of the production of processing. Bamboo also is basically giant grass with family Bambusidae and family Focusae or Graminae is the a lot of family for the bamboo. And bamboo also have characteristic rods. The characteristics of bamboo rods are round, segmented, jointed, and hollow. Is the benefit the structure from the bamboo is have a segmented, jointed, and hollow. And I will try to clear this benefit. Sorry, I forget. Bamboo is very strong. As a construction material, bamboo has a very strong fiber. The comprehensive strength of bamboo is 2 times higher than concrete, while the tensile strength is close to steel. Is amazing. Bamboo fiber has a shear stress that is higher than wood. Bamboo has wider span than wood. If you will build some wider span, bamboo is very good than wood. Bamboo also can be curved without breaking. Bamboo is considered as one of building material that are very strong with tensile strength more and less than 28,000 Newton per square inch. Is very high compared to steel, which only 23,000 Newton per square inch. It's very amazing, strong from the bamboo. If describe of bamboo in construction, bamboo is one of the oldest and most versatile building material with many applications in the field of construction, particularly in developing countries like our country. It is strong and lightweight and can be often to use without processing or finishing. Bamboo construction are easy to build, resilient to wind and even equipped force, and really repayable in the event of damage. Associated products such as bamboo-based panel and bamboo reinforced concrete also find application in the construction process. Is the construction bamboo with a modern touch, yeah, is different with the traditional touch. Okay, this is this classification of bamboo. Full construction is part of the classification of the entire bamboo-based construction. According to this classification, bamboo construction are divided into 2 main categories. The first is conventional and substantive bamboo construction as indicated in the following diagram in slide. Conventional bamboo construction are divided into 2 categories, traditional or vernacular and engineered conventional. Conventional bamboo construction is used to describe a construction of bamboo based on the specific characteristic of bamboo. A convention is a set of written rules, a set of agreed, stipulated, or generally accepted standard, norms, social norm, or criteria. Conventional bamboo construction stands for the construction based on convention of bamboo construction in the community. This convention is not only used in traditional or vernacular construction, but is also applied in the modern bamboo construction with or without improvement. It's very conventional. On the other hand, bamboo is utilized to replace other material. Thus, this bamboo construction will be classified substitutive bamboo construction. The best example of bamboo substitutive for the other material are eliminated from bamboo and bamboo in concrete reinforcement. I think in the civil engineering is very familiar, bamboo for concrete reinforcement. And then laminated bamboo can actually replace wood construction. Bamboo is also utilized to replace steel rebars as concrete reinforcement. In the full construction, use of bamboo falls in the category almost bamboo construction with logic of steel construction is a space frame structure. It's the water bamboo is very strong. This is the properties from bamboo. The reduced ductility of bamboo element is critical aspect from structural point of view. Bamboo is characterized by brittle behavior. mainly for tension force, and the collapse in most cases caused by longitudinal cracks along the weakest line. Another negative aspect for traditional bamboo frame is the relative thickness of the joint between the cans. Often the knots are built in vernacular context. Tight drops are by incision of the cans, simple to realize but not suitable to transmit the entire bearing capacity of the bamboo element. Also, the variant of fiber volume fraction across the thickness of bamboo at the three parts are given in the slide. It's observed that the fiber distribution is more uniform at the bottom than at the top and the middle parts. It means bottom, middle, and top have similar thickness, have same strength. However, the difference between the distribution are not very significant. Yeah, it's the unique from the bamboo strengths. Okay. Okay, in this slide, we are talk about the bamboo in construction. There is over a number of important considerations which currently limit the use of bamboo as a universal applicable construction material. First, the durability. Bamboo is subject to attack by fungi and insects. For this reason, untreated bamboo structures are viewed as temporary with an expected life of no more than 5 years. What say Miss Bukarisa, only 2 or 3 years if untreated, yeah. And second one, about jointing. Many traditional joint type exist, their structural efficiency is low. Considerable research has been directed of the development of more effective joining methods. Must be improve about jointing. In the slide is the picture. The figure is modern jointing combined with steel and the modern mechanical. Flammability. Bamboo structures do not behave well in fires, and the cost of treatment where available is relatively high. Is the problem. And the last, lack of design guidance and standardization. The engineering design of bamboo structure has not yet been fully addressed. Okay, it's the other story about the standardization, because in the book of standard kayu Indonesia, I think it's bamboo little no standard, no standard. I will check again. I will check it about the in the book, standard book. Okay, this is the application of bamboo. Bamboo can be used to make a low component of small building, both structural and non-structural, with the exception of fireplace and claim. It is, however, often used in conjunction with other materials. Bamboo building construction is characterized by structural frame approach similar to the apply in timber frame construction. In this case, the floor, wall, and roof elements are interconnected and often one dependent of the other for overall stability. There's a need to control lateral deformation in some traditional form of building particular. The quasi stable of the building for occupancy will also depend to a large extent of good detailing. For example, to have repellent water and moisture ingress, fungal tag, and permanent infection. Is the in the slide is the sample what to improve the durability. It is also a traditional method to improve the durability. Okay. In the other context, application of the bamboo as a floor, as a floor, as a foundation. Bamboo is direct ground context. Bamboo on rock or for concrete footing. bamboo is incorporated into concrete footing, bamboo on steel shoes, bamboo reinforced concrete. I think in general is the best to keep bamboo clear of the ground. Must to keep clear from the ground. Since untreated material can decay very quickly in ground contact. Is the other problem. As a floor, a bamboo building might be a ground level and therefore consists only of compacted earth with or without covering bamboo matting. However, the favorite solution is to raise the floor above the ground, uh, make space. This improves comfort and hygiene and can provide a covered storage below the floor. When the floor is elevated, it becomes an integral part of the structural framework of the building. The floor comprises, I think, is structural bamboo elements, bamboo decking, and the other method and the other design. It is one of important thing about the bamboo. Traditional method and modern method is about the jointing techniques. The first is the effective jointing is fundamental to the structure integrity of frame construction. Furthermore, the sustainability of material for use in framing is largely dependent upon the use with which joints can be formed. And second one, because of its rod, tabular form, jointing of two or more bamboo member requires a different approach to the adopted for say solid timber. Despite its relative high strength, bamboo is Bamboo is susceptible to crushing, particularly of open ends, yet also characteristic by a tendency to split. The use of nail, pegs, notcher, or mortise can be therefore result to considerable reduction in strength. Connection or joint must also cope with variation in diameter because the size of the bamboo ununiform, varies in diameter, wall thickness, and slackness. Must to what the name? Like sail. About the traditional joint, method really principally on lacing or try with the without pegs or dowels. The basic joint type are like splices joint, orthogonal joint, angel joint, and throat joint. It's a lot of joint example. It's about the improved traditional joint. The mechanical performance of traditional bamboo joint can be improved by the adoption of the flowing pressure, like the foam joint at or near notch, minimize of holes, use season column, reinforce against splitting and crushing, like the tight binding, especially with wire, can itself offer good resistance to splitting. If wire is very good to resistant to splitting, if you can modification the wire with the perfect wiring, I think it's very good to resistant the splitting. In truss, the use of quarter one bamboo bearing plates reduce the risk of crushing of the throat by the compression waves. It's very important in improve traditional joint. And the last, please improve durability. Preservative treatment of the bamboo and protection from wetting by good detailing will increase the life of the joint. The use of wire, in many cases, preferable to bamboo lacing or rope and is not subject to insect attack. Is the another example. For the a lot of paper, I read and I try to discuss. By building on traditional method, exploiting the strengths and advantage of bamboo, a number of jointing techniques have been developed which offer more structure, efficient solution to jointing problem. However, their adoption and sustainability depend to a large extent of the cost and availability of material, equipment, and skilled labor. Recent example include like the cassette plates, ITCR joint, arch joint, file joint, dash clamp, Havertz pin connector, wedge joint, steel or plastic, a lot of is also the other joint, yeah, the modern joint. It's example about the durability of bamboo as engineering material. Similar to chamber, bamboo is vulnerable to be attacked environmental agents, insect and molds. Its durability depends very much on the species, eggs, right conservation, treatment, and curing, which is initiated already when being cut in the bamboo grove. There is strong relation between insect attack, humidity content, and start of bamboo. In order to reduce the nutrition content, bamboo needs to pass through a curing process such as curing on the spot, curing by immersion, curing by heating, curing by smoke, and there are a lot of about the curing. Curing traditional, like in the Java Island or in the West Java, is deep in water. I think curing by smoke like bamboo for the angklung. And also drying bamboo is fundamental for its conservation for various reasons. Bamboo with low humidity is less prone to mold attacks with a very low risk when humidity content is less than 15%. Yeah, 15% physical and mechanical properties increase when bamboo has a low humidity content. Bamboo to be treated need to dry to facilitate ventilation and obtain a better result and reduce transport cost. Is the benefit from the bamboo. In engineering and architect faculty, the subject structure analysis emphasis mainly to the strength of steel reinforced concrete element a little, thus about durability and performance this structure during their lifetime. Many steel and concrete building construction during the last 30 years, they feel serious deterioration caused mainly the corrosion the steel reinforced. Many ongoing research program about bamboo, I think is the benefit than steel or concrete building. Okay, this is the protection of bamboo components. Bamboo is non-durable, it is natural state. It provides a ready for source for insect and fungi, and what the name? Fungi. And decay in the less than a year in the direct ground context. Protection is therefore essential to ensure the longest possible life for the material and the building in which it is used. Protection does not necessarily mean chemical treatment. The first line of defense, I think, is post-harvesting is good design. First is protection by design. Protection by design involves for basic principle. Keeping the bamboo dry, keeping the bamboo at the ground contact, ensuring good air circulation, and also ensuring the good visibility. If protection by preservation, in general, the natural durability of bamboo can be enhanced by the application of preservative compounds which help to prevent insect and fungal attacks. For treatment, methods are intended to site workshop application, like intranodal injection, like in the slide, deep diffusion with boric acid and borax, hot and cold Creston method, and the last is the Boncherry method. Boncherry method, like in the slide. Yeah. Okay. In the slide is, I think, in on the job the bamboo also can to build some bike, yeah. It's the modern bike in the woods. Okay, thank you, Ibu Evi, for your time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Dr. Andri Irfan. It make me flashback 22 years ago ya, when I learned about bahan bangunan ini. Your great presentation for me is very useful. At least I know about the application of bamboo and then the protection, yeah. And then lovely, Dr. Andri. And then the third speaker, Mr. Charlie, I just know you are a member of Royal Institute British Architect, right?
That's right, yes.
Okay. Now we want to hear your experience with your philosophy. Your philosophy. May I mention your philosophy?
Sure, please.
To improve our well-being, our need to be inspired by space, and then we live in the built environment, the natural and their harmonious existence. Lovely.
Thank you.
This is your time to present your presentation and then your experience, please, Mr. Charlie.
Sure. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, so can everybody see my screen okay?
Okay.
Okay. So thank you for having me, and thank you for the amazing talks beforehand, both extremely informative, both from Ibu Carissa and Dr. Andri. A lot of detail there and a very, very good overview, and also some very interesting details that I thought were extremely informative and really add to the conversation and practicality, usage, and ability of bamboo within architecture. So to follow on from those great talks, I would like to just give a presentation of our personal experience using bamboo in building. So from us, this is bamboo architecture and methodology as part of Inspiral Architecture and Design Studios. So just a little bit about me. I am from the UK and Hong Kong. So I'm Gado Gado with both British and Chinese heritage. I studied at the Bartlett University of Architecture, part of UCL. I've spent a lot of time working in London, Edinburgh and Brighton in the UK. And then in 2009, I moved to Bali and quite soon opened up this company, Inspiral Architecture and Design. So with this around 12 years here in Bali, it's been a wonderful journey of building, design, and creating architecture. A little bit about the company, who we are. So we are a collective of architects, structural engineers, MEP engineers, and interior designers. Everybody here we're quite a youthful practice, but it's an environment where there's an open forum for ideas, solutions, creativity, practicality, and professionalism. And in this environment, we try to live in the same way as our design philosophy. Our work is varied, so we're not only a bamboo architectural practice. Our projects cover a wide range of types. We do a lot of hospitality. We do a lot of residential, both high-end and affordable housing. We do a lot of entertainment places, leisure, in terms of, say, yoga studios or restaurants. And of course, we enjoy designing pavilions and where possible, places that we could even consider places of worship. So as you mentioned our philosophy, I'll bring this up again because I always think it's a nice way to set the scene for our design prerogative. So to improve our well-being, we need to be inspired by the spaces we live in, the built environment, the natural, and their harmonious existence. So where does that happen? How can we look and see the integration of man and nature? So we always look around throughout history. There's been many examples where there's been a beautiful mergence, whether it's through architecture, whether it's through art, whether it's through just natural functioning. There are a lot of different strands throughout history as an example where man and nature have merged. But for us, I think the best example can be found here, where what we're all very used to, especially here in Indonesia. And I think the best example where man and nature merge for us is the rice field in the sawah. And I can look at it in 4 ways, how this works. Symbolically, functionally, experientially, and energetically. And I think these 4 aspects you can see are present in the rice field. Symbolically, in its beautiful aesthetic, you can see the introduction of humans with nature working together. Functionally, the way it merges with the rivers and the subak throughout. Experientially, between its technology and its consequential outcomes in terms of feeding and supply. And energetically, how the resonance of its physical presence and its connection to our own consciousness. So throughout this talk, I will go through each element and can see how our philosophy is broken down into this design world in the context of bamboo. One of the people we always like to reference is a man called Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was a poet, a philosopher from the 19th century who was part of the lead of the transcendental movement. So his philosophy was to be able to look at how nature and man and the goodness of man and the goodness of nature, and how this elevates our own existence on Earth. So here are a few quotes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nature, whose floods of life stream around and through us. Nature is a disciple of the understanding in intellectual truths. We know more from nature than we can at will communicate. To the body and mind, which have been cramped by noxious work or company, nature is medicinal and restores their tone. So in very much these kind of words, I relate this to the holistic path. Being holistic is a way of healing. It's an essential route to respond to our own inner nature, our sentience. So if we can bring this idea of the holistic and healing into architecture, I think it resonates in the way that architecture really responds to helping humanity. So in the holistic idea of holistic health, there are generally considered 7 dimensions to holistic health. In any holistic area you go to, you'd always find these 7 elements: the social, physical, the emotional, the purpose, intellectual, environmental, and spiritual. So as you can see already, these elements are very much part of our everyday understanding of architecture. In fact, I always like to look back at the original architect. We always have taught about architects from the past few centuries or the Renaissance, but who was the original architect? In the most earliest known architect, perhaps even can be considered the father of architecture, is this architect called Imhotep. Imhotep was from ancient Egypt. He was lived in the third dynasty between 2650 to 2600 BC. He was the prime minister to the king, and he was the priest of the sun god. Now, Imhotep was the architect who built the oldest still standing stone monument on earth, step pyramid of King Djoser at Saqqara. Interestingly, he was also a physician and was so clever in treating patients that Egyptians made him their god of medicine. So in fact, the real godfather of architecture, or as the original architect, he was in many ways a doctor. He was holistic. All his being was about healing. So in the same spirit, I think this should continue in all of our architecture to consider how architecture can be holistic. So continuing on in our breakdown, we'll go back to the first aspect that we touched on, which was symbolism. And I will do this in a bamboo context. So aspects of where our journey has been using bamboo in architecture. So this perhaps was one of our very first adventures in bamboo. And this in itself is very symbolic. It's a stupa as an art project that was made as an exploration of how bamboo as a sculpture can work. So very, very, very early aspect. But continuing in the aspect of holism, this project was a yoga studio called The Practice, where we use a lot of bamboo as part of its main overall structure. And bamboo in itself symbolically, in the holistic aspect, with its natural appeal, its tactileness, its lightness, very much appeals to the idea symbolically of being holistic. So we use it in corridors, we use it in the overall structure, trying to reach towards something beyond ourselves, outside of ourselves, but also intrinsically within ourselves. Here, these bamboo structure elevates, and using the geometry of bamboo, we can create a journey visually from the ground, centering up to something towards the sky almost. A yoga center, a yoga space is actually something very, in a way, almost like a temple. And I think bamboo is great at offering itself that. In a smaller sense, we use bamboo in a holistic way in spas. And this project here uses bamboo throughout its whole interior. And this bamboo is where both our earlier speakers mentioned was strand woven bamboo, where it's compressed and brought out as a different material. So in a very sensual way, we can use the bamboo throughout every lining. The way it interacts with light and space brings the bamboo intrinsically towards our senses. In other aspects, going even to a more micro scale, we use it throughout in furniture. You know, from doing large buildings, we also use bamboo from our chairs to beds. Even in our office, our reception desk is using this form of bamboo in different ways. But how does this work in a functional aspect in our work? You know, we're looking at large span structures. So we're not bamboo purists, but in many ways we love to use bamboo as a mixed media within our projects. And when we look at our projects, sustainability as part of this harmonious living is, of course, the functional aspect of holistic design. So when we look at bamboo, we like to compare the embodied energy within very different materials within our design. And this kind of table is always a reference to us where we want to be. Of course, we want to be looking at the lower aspects of embodied energy. And here, bamboo, the lowest and the standard comparison, we can see that homegrown softwood is far lower than obviously the embodied energy of steel. But interestingly, bamboo is even half of this. So the leap, and where our earlier speakers touched on before, the carbon footprint of bamboo is dramatically less than other materials. So within our design, we could like to combine bamboo with what could be considered aspects to eco concrete or alternatives to cement. Obviously, we have the bamboo. We love to use local materials. We're so lucky in Indonesia that we have such a beautiful range of stone. And with recycled timber, we also use rammed earth. We use lime, as in limestone. And the developments these days, a lot of composite materials that helps with aspects such as insulation, lightweightness. Again, all these aspects can help to reduce our carbon footprint. And here, even the development of that, where the strand woven bamboo or laminated bamboo, and in the same way, looking at binding resins that come from more organic sources rather than volatile organic compounds. Over the last few years, there's been a massive development in the binding agents of bamboo that have a much better eco aspect. And of course, then we can look to the future. I think we're at the beginning when we're talking about wide span structures and significant structures. We can be influenced that the fact that this direction of architecture of using bamboo compared to traditional materials such as reinforced concrete and steel, bamboo can very much compete with that, but then at the same time helping to develop sustainable design in this way. And then even in the small part, the functional aspect, what is the function of our feelings, of our emotion when we're in contact with bamboo? And where I use the image of the baby within the womb, I think bamboo really has that same quality of this, be able to create a womb-like experience. We can create spaces which are soft and rounded, and more tactile to the human form, the human experience, rather than the industrial or machine for living experience. I think we've evolved and moved on where it's something that's far more biocentric. So even from a bedroom, for us, is very important as this womb-like space to help with our well-being and our intrinsic connection to nature. So here, I touched on a project here from the inside, starting from the inside, where nature and bamboo and other natural materials can extend outside to even communities. So this project here is a community where buildings themselves are a range of buildings, but all within a holistic, environmentally aware, environmentally conscious ecology of buildings that work as a community together. So, and how do these buildings look? How do they work together as a community? So they need to be able to merge into the surrounding landscape, both in its materiality and its aesthetic and energetic presence. So the beauty of bamboo that we work with, we can create these organic shapes. We can create shapes that reflect not only from the inside but to the outside, the surrounding landscape. So there isn't a distinction between the man-made environment and the natural environment. Both flows naturally into each other. So this would be, over here is a 2-bedroom house. We have a 3-bedroom house, all of which very much work together in this tropical environment. And even in the expressive form, we like the bamboo. We can create, because of its lightness, because of its tensile strength, we can create large cantilevers and overhangs and create buildings that feel like they're growing from the ground. Here is the centerpiece of perhaps of the community, which is a clubhouse, which contains a restaurant, gym and spa facilities. And this is the center of the community, the communal space, and perhaps the building which most exemplifies the overall architecture of this bamboo experience. We can also do it in more compact situations. So even condensed living, the last example was a very spread out, low density environment. This would be an apartment building where the density is high. So how can we bring these elements of nature using bamboo roofs, using forms that flow, and creating a differentiation between various units, even though the typical apartment is something which requires being regular spaces and, of course, logical and high efficiency floor plates. We can still do what we can to insert greenery, to insert nature, to insert low carbon footprint materials wherever we can, to create an architecture that embodies this philosophy. Everything from the facade down to the floor plan, to the elevation, showing our respect to our overall environment. Even here in a large scale, perhaps this is a much larger development, again, condensed living. But here we use bamboo structures over the roof structures. We use it in the elements of cladding and various aspects of the buildings within the destination. So we like to create destinations within destinations, working on our scale from the intimate spaces to large, high roof spaces where spans of bamboo structures work to cover large spaces and also work in various other buildings within the complex. Using a mix of materials, this would use bamboo structure, it uses tension fabric membranes, and all working together where there is no distinction between one and the other. And this is the interior space of the restaurant. And here also, again, a yoga studio. You know, I mean, the beautiful thing about the possibilities of geometry and bamboo are endless, all of which can help create this elevated feeling. So how does this work with the experiential? I guess I've touched upon that already in the yoga studio, and continuing on to another yoga studio, this experiential aspect. I think because we are biocentric creatures, we are very much drawn to the way lines work, to the way there's a journey from where we go from entering one space or where our eye moves from one point to another. We're always looking for patterns. We're always looking for symbols that have a big impact on our experience. So this yoga studio looks to do that, how we integrate both modern elements and also the bamboo elements too. This yoga studio itself, again, tried to be integrating with nature, uses a hyperbolic paraboloid as its form. Again, a mathematical form which is found very much throughout nature. And this yoga studio, it is around from the ground. It cantilevers over the edge of this cliff. So from here down to the river below is around 15 meters. And again, this part of the experiential feeling is to, here we see it down here, is to create that weightlessness that symbolizes something beyond ourselves. So this yoga studio was part of this resort called the Uluman Eco Resort. And And this was completed last year, where it's a series of buildings, individual units, and a main house within this natural setting. We have rivers, we have cliffs, and so what we did when we planned out this project, we wanted to ensure that the natural flora and fauna was preserved as much as possible. So the placement of all our buildings within the site were based around the position of trees and how the buildings could integrate in between these trees. So a lot of the old trees were very much kept, and then the rest, a lot of the palm trees, some of which could move. But really the setting out wanted to become part of this evolution of nature that's already grown there. So we started out when we conceptualized, we obviously, we work with our massing, we work with our form, and what comes naturally and inspires us. And what inspires us is very much what we see there on the site itself. So we developed the sketches, and then from this we developed our models and renderings to ensure that it stays within this philosophy. Another main aspect of the design was the use of rammed earth. To keep the carbon footprint low, we try and use as much of what the materials we find on site. So even a lot of there was bamboo on the site which we were able to use, but we were also able to use the earth found in the ground. So everything, all the earth that we dug up from our foundation and pools, we could save. And we made these little templates, little experimentations to see what the colors of the earth would look like, and how if we mixed it with, say, sand, lime, or oxides, what kind of colors and effects we can do. So this is during the construction process. You can see round earth is made by creating formwork, and then using a lot of manual labor, we layer the earth inside the formwork, and within that it sets. And this is a method that's actually been dated back for 1,000 years. It's a very ancient technique of building, from the Great Wall of China to many structures found in Africa and certain parts of Asia as well. So what happens when we take up the formwork? We get these beautiful colors and this earth. So for me, this building embodies natural building, not just bamboo, but earth as well. Here we can see some of the construction process taking over during the building aspect. And by the end, we end up with this resort, which, as you can see, this is the main house. We have outdoor pavilions, we have tree houses, and I think what we like to see is that the scene feels very natural. Again, like what we saw with the rice field, the two aspects of nature and building work in harmony together. Again, we can look at lighting and the way reflections work. And what you'll find here with the bamboo also, we're talking about longevity. Longevity and maintenance is a very important aspect to us. So, and I think this is something in terms of bamboo building which has improved dramatically over the years. Even Carissa mentioned the treatment of termites using borax. And we can see here using bamboo, we require large overhangs. Bamboo, when it's not exposed to the elements, it's a very sturdy material. We're going to get a lot of longevity from it if it's not exposed. So we create these large overhangs on it. And we also, we use a lot of whitewashing, mixing with nano treatments to protect the bamboo from the elements. For two aspects. One, in terms of aesthetic, I like the way that by whitewashing, it lifts the aspects in terms of tone, but it also protects the bamboo as well. So this protects the bamboo from, obviously, the salt and the humidity of the air, but also for our roof tiles, this white aspect, this helps against fungal growth, and keeps the bamboo dry. So increasing its longevity by a large amount. Which is showing different aspects. This comes back to our womb-like experience again, the tactile nature of the earth, of the bamboo, the mixed materials, this setting. Even from the bedrooms to the bathrooms, from a wooden bathtub, using black bamboo and then whitened bamboo, we can get to be very playful and have a lot of fun with the different textures and elements that work together. Here, again, we use a lot of natural stone. We use the ironwood, recycled ironwood for our decking. And even the pathways, we prefer to minimize our use of concrete as well. So all the pathways using natural local stone. Creating rhythm even from our swimming pools. The combination of which one element can highlight the other. And even here during construction, we have our tree house, the trees combining with the buildings as well. Also in a functional aspect, we look to use the water. So I showed you earlier, we had a river, we had a waterfall. And so this has become a very important aspect for the overall development of the design. What we are doing, we are using the water to create an artificial lake, where we're putting a hydroelectric turbine within this artificial lake, and pressure from the volume of water from one height down to another will help create a sustainable form of electricity to help power the whole resort. So this aspect is building this lake is part of phase 2. And what I'd like to do, I will show you just a little video of what's happening in part 2. If I share a different screen. And I'll share a new screen for you. Give me a moment here. Can you see my movie there?
Hello?
No, can you see my screen? Let's see that.
No.
No? Oh,
see your
okay. Sorry. Try this again. Well, I think it's having trouble showing the movie, I think.
Mm.
Is that, no? Oh, no.
Okay.
So,
Wah. It just come up.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was going to share a mood, but I think it's having trouble. For some reason, it doesn't come up on the shared screen. Try one more time. Okay, maybe I have to forget that, I think. Yes. Maybe I try, actually, I have one more option. Okay, see that? Sorry. So this is the extension of the resort. This is part 2. So again, we're using round earth with the bamboo structures. Here you can see aspects of the Subak. We're building a new pool with a bar area. This is what you see in the background is what is existing already. But again, we're creating an experience of nature, waterfalls. Like this is a waterfall tunnel. And coming back, we're going to give an overview of the site. Now this here, as we come back, we have the original temple. What we see here is the lake. This artificial lake, as well as creating ambience, will help to power the resort. But we're having this time around, we're having a much more exploration of different natural structures with both our bamboo and round earth. Here, the bamboo creates these leaf-like structures. Again, with this open feeling. The earth is very much part of our experience. And here we use the aspect of the lake. We're creating these natural geometries. And this is an underground spa area. And the material we're using here, we're using structurally insulated panels, which is a combination of a polymer render and recycled EPS. And we're able to create these green roofs on the top to help preserve the ecology of the building. So this is, and all this integrates with the existing Subak around. Here we have the accommodation buildings. And this combines with geometry and the natural aspects to have this interesting ambience. These high structures, because of the size of the site, we want to still create space. So we create these high elevated structures for a different aspect and a different experience within the resort. And also as an exploration to see what we could do with bamboo in terms of its structure and its composition. So this space is under construction right now, and hopefully should be completed by the end of this year. And if I go back and share my presentation. So back to where we were. Our next focus, our next subject will be on the energetic aspect of our philosophy. So there we go. So where does the energetic aspect of bamboo come in? Here, this image here, we're looking at the cell structure of bamboos. Even if you look in a micro level, there's a certain beauty. There's an intrinsic mathematical complexity that starts from a cellular level all the way through to its overall space. So I think with what I would look to find when we can use bamboo is that energetically it ties in with what we associate energy in regard to throughout time in terms of design. So we've always looked at that in terms of the golden section. And in the golden section, we've seen it through the Renaissance, we've seen it through nature, we've seen it even through through modern proportion. Is that the idea that everything is, all things in our universe are constantly in motion, they're vibrating. Even objects that appear to be stationary are in fact vibrating. So we want our architecture to embody this aspect of energy. And bamboo is one of the ways we can do that with our design. So from even we're looking at golden sections, we look at the golden ratio because essentially it's life force. And for our aspect of healing and the holistic, we need to embody this understanding of life force, which sustains our health, sustains our consciousness, it sustains our existence. So sometimes we look at seeing how this aspect can be incorporated into every aspect of architecture, whether it's in a space where we have we can be very expressive, or we're in a condensed urban environment. We look to bring this rhythm, this idea of natural energy into our buildings. So this, for example, will be within a hotel, and from both the inside and the outside, we bring this aspect of geometry, and it invites the life force from our womb experience to even high-rise buildings where perhaps you know, the brief is we're constrained sometimes by floor plans and ratios that we can actually still bring elements of bamboo. So this project is under construction right now in Nepal, in Kathmandu, right in the city center. So we brought this rhythm in, and even still, we brought the bamboo into spaces where we can create a connection. So these are outdoor spaces, both on the ground level, or we can create this into environments that are embedded in nature. So using combinations of bamboo, natural wood, in a kind of utopian aspect. And I think this is all relates to this idea of bioholistic culture. And we can look at all the different aspects of how we can bring in natural science. We can look at structures and systems. We can look at function and mechanism, communication and networks, and materials, design and evaluation, production. And a lot of this bioholistic culture comes from this idea of biomimicry. What we learn from nature, what we can bring back into nature, and using the core, most efficient systems. And of course, bamboo itself is one of the most efficient, fastest growing materials. So I think it's a very natural step in our overall evolution of design, where bamboo will be massively incorporated into the future. And with that, I'd like to close this talk. And thank you, everybody, for being patient with my technical hitches and taking on board what we've had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Charlie. You just said about symbol, function, and then experiment, and then you know, I just know form and function. And you know, I just check the Ulaman room rate, you know. Maybe I want to go there. Okay. Now we had a question and answer session. I just limited this session only one session because we have a limited time. Maybe for Mr. Charlie and Dr. Andre, I can summary the question for you, and then for Charlie, which one the most challenging was building project you have ever done, and then from a student, he or she wondering, as far he know that there are over 1,000 of bamboo species. Are there any certain species of bamboo that we cannot use, or any certain species of bamboo that we have to use in order to create or build bamboo construction on architecture? And then maybe Charlie, you can answer this question in 3 minutes, maybe. Sorry, I limited your time because we have rushed in time to close this webinar. Thank you.
Okay, which question first?
About your challenging project.
Okay, the most challenging project. What's the most challenging aspect? Usually the client is usually the most challenging aspect. It depends on the client, really. But I guess if you're referring to in terms of project-wise and site and complexity, yeah. I would actually probably say that the phase 2 of Ulaman is very challenging because we're incorporating this aspect of the hydroelectricity, creating false lakes, optimizing where we can source our power from. So building a large lake, actually, which integrates buildings, it integrates mechanics, we have to consider flooding and all the different environmental aspects. That actually has been a big challenge. And I always generally find that usually the biggest challenge is the latest project, the most recent one, because we're always evolving, we're always trying to progress and do something new. So I guess each time we have a new project, we always become that little bit more daring, and we look to experiment and explore a bit more to push ourselves. So for sure, I think maybe next year's project will be even more challenging.
Based on your experience that about the species of bamboo, can you explain that?
Sorry, what's that?
Based on your experience, there are over the question from Vincent Young.
Oh, about species.
Yeah, species. He said that over 1,000 of bamboo species. I just thought about that.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at sustainable design, of course, we always want to look at using the most local materials as possible, right? We want to reduce our carbon footprint in terms of transport. And what I find is that the bamboo that grows in the more challenging environments is usually a better and stronger bamboo. So yeah, we have so many different varieties, but I mean each aspect, each bamboo, there's always a usage in some sort of way. Of course, a lot of it depends on when it's cut. It depends on the thickness of the walls. It depends on the season. So essentially, I don't think there's one species that you could say that's better than the other. of course, things like Graduate and things like that are more famous. But I would never rule out using any bamboo itself unless it's rotten. But in a sense, if it has strength, there's always a function in there somewhere.
Okay, maybe we jump to Dr. Andri from Andri. Andri want to ask about the treatment of steel use. We use diamond the same of use bamboo. Yeah. If the bamboo in more layer, if yes, what kind of the effective treatment done?
Okay, thank you, Bu Evi. I will try to answer about the
Treatment.
of the bamboo species, ya. If in the bahan bangunan or in the structure of bamboo, the base of the family from the for the bamboo in Indonesia is the name bambu bitung or bambu petung. Is the best strength of the bamboo in Indonesia. Like at column, the other construction use the bambu bitung. In Java is the bambu petung, ya. Is the name is bambu petung. In the pole construction, the uses of the bamboo poles in the category of mostly bamboo construction with logic of steel construction in a space frame structure. Is not one layer, 2 layer, or 3 layer, but it's the frame structure. Must the rigid the structure. Of course, if you use the space frame structure, you must talk about the effective jointing, because effective jointing is fundamental to the structural integrity of the frame construction. Furthermore, the sustainability of the material used in the framing is largely dependent upon the ease with which joint can be formed. By building of the traditional method, as planting the strengths of advantage of bamboo, a number of jointing techniques have been developed which offer more structure efficient solution to joint problem. What I say, can use the wire, the advanced wire, or you combine with the steel jointing or plastic jointing with the improved strength for the every jointing. But the other hand, not only the jointing, but its quality from the bamboos must improve. You can improve the quality of the bamboo with modern or traditional treatment, like you use the borax or sodium borax. You need only in the full borax or sodium only 7 days. After this you can dry, and after this you can jointing with wire or with steel jointing. Thank you, Bu Evi. Like this, I think. Thank you.
Well, the last question is for Ms. Carissa. How can we deal with the challenges of building with bamboo? Can you answer that? And then maybe in 2 minutes, because I have to close this webinar.
Okay, I will make it short. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 possible challenges in bamboo building construction. Susceptible to deterioration and getting undermined by the modern technology construction. So the first challenge, from what I learned from Dr. Andri, 2 principles are required: durability by design and durability by preservation. By design means that the bamboo must be kept dry through good design practices, such as elevating the structure above the ground using damp-proof membranes, having good drip details, having good roof overhangs, using waterproof coatings for the walls, and so on. Whereas by preservation means that the bamboo must be treated by most common and appropriate chemical like boron or a mixture of borax and boric acid. It's also important though that once cut and treated, bamboo poles are stored horizontally to prevent bending or sagging in a
dry, shaded, and well-cooled area, at least 50 centimeters off the ground to encourage air circulation. And the second challenge, modern technology. Given the fact that technology of bamboo construction is continuously developing, I believe one day modern technology will actually be of assistance in responding to this challenge. It will maximize the potential of bamboo in the world of architecture and construction with a better way of building with bamboo techniques, like what Mr. Charlie did, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Actually, we have 3 more questions, but we don't have much time. And then I have write all the questions, and I will pass to the speaker by email, and then the host will organize the answer to you. Okay. Finally, I have to close this lovely webinar. I will not continue the speaker presentation, and then you may ask the link of the presentation at the chat column. And then first, before I close, let's take the picture, put your video on. Maybe Ibu Karisa or the host can help me to make the screenshot of this webinar. Okay, smile, oh, video on please. Okay, ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, put your video on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next. 1, 2, 3, say tempe, smile. Okay, next. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I close this webinar. Thank you, speakers. Lovely webinar. Thank you. Thank you, Liai. Okay, assalamualaikum. Bye-bye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Dr. Andri.
Charlie.
So much.
I leave ya. Bye.
Makasih Bu Evi. Thank you Charlie.
Ibu.
Mulia juga ada.
Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Pak Anom.